Welcome to my next franchise ranking video as Alien Romulus finally just hit theaters, and in preparation to watch Alien Romulus, I just watched all the movies in the Alien franchise, and surprisingly enough, most of these were actually first-time watches for me. I know. Now, it's very possible that I did watch some of the films that I thought I didn't watch before, but if I did, I was extremely young, like 2 or 3 years old, and I don't remember anything about them. Yes, it's true. My mom raised me on horror movies. Not a big fan of her these days, but she raised me on horror movies. So I was watching like Friday the 13th movies when I was like 4 years old. That's my first movie theater memory, being at Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter in the outdoor cinema. So this is going to be my ranking of the Alien franchise, of course. And I don't have a lot of nostalgia for this franchise yet because I just watched most of the movies for the first time. So we probably won't agree. There are some that you'll agree with where my placement is, but a lot of them you'll be like, huh? One in particular I do have some nostalgia for because I'd watched it previously, so that one might be higher ranked than you would have it. So just know, leave your ranking in the comment section. Now, before I get into my ranking, a few things at the end of this video with about 20 seconds left. Click right here for my franchise playlist. I'll put all the franchises that I've ranked will be in that playlist. Check them out. I've done Scream, Evil Dead, you name it, there's stuff on there. And then about 20 seconds left, I'll put my Dexter playlist right there. That'll have everything that I've done Dexter related, because I'm really going to go gung-ho on this channel once the new iterations of Dexter come out. And I want to interact with everybody and talk to new people about the TV show Dexter. And then, of course, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am and you're watching every movie in the Alien franchise, including Alien Romulus, then I highly suggest that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. Yes, this video will spoil some things in the Alien franchise. Kicking things off in 9th place, and this is mostly the general consensus when it comes to these Alien franchise ranking videos, I'm going with Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. A very dark movie in terms of they kill kids or babies and they kill pregnant women, but it's also really dark where you can't see a freaking thing. It's just unlikable characters in this movie, and the plot is not very developed well. You have the Predator, Wolf, I believe they call the Predator, and the Predator kills everybody instead of bonding with humans if they show their warrior spirit, and it's just not very good, because they kind of showed the Predator bond with someone in AVP. Well, this one, the Predator just kills everything in sight, and you can barely see it as it is, and it's just not a good movie. But it is rated R, and they do kill babies and pregnant women, which I guess is a plus if you like that sort of thing, but I don't. Honestly, I never want to watch this movie again, but I'm going to have to because I do want to re-rank this franchise since I'm getting into it now. I don't know when that will be. I might even rank it when the TV series comes out, if that's still a thing. So Aliens vs. Predator Requiem is my number 9. Coming in 8th place, I'm going with Alien 3. And honestly, I wanted to put Alien 3 in 9th place, but it is a better movie. It's a little bit more boring in terms of I was dozing off watching it, and this was the first movie I watched on a Saturday, so I watched this movie less than a week ago for the first time. It has some good actors in it, like Charles S. Dutton. It has Charles Dance, who of course was Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones. It's directed by David Fincher, who's one of my favorite directors, even though I don't really rank directors, but I like 3 good movies of his, or 4. So I'm a little higher on David Fincher as a director. You kill off Newt and Hicks in the opening of the movie off screen. I think they show them as laying dead in the sleeping pods that they were in, which they spent most of Aliens kind of developing the relationship between Ripley and Newt, just to have Newt as well as Hicks get killed off right away. They even kill off Charles Dance's character, which I can't remember what his character's name was in the movie, they kill him off in one scene by a xenomorph, which kind of pissed me off, but it is what it is. He was getting interesting at that point, and then they just killed him off. So, and then I mean, the plot is Ripley gets put in this prison place where all these people are bad people, and it's just Ripley against all these guys, and you have one xenomorph, and I don't know. I didn't really like it. I honestly wanted to put it in ninth place because I was really ashamed of it. I stayed awake during Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, even though I couldn't see a goddamn thing. So, Alien 3 coming in eighth place. Number 7 for me is going to be the first movie of this franchise I actually watched. I watched this in the theater when it came out in 2003, and that would be Alien vs. Predator. Now, I like another Versus movie a lot more that came out in 2003, and that, of course, is Freddy vs. Jason, which I'm not a Freddy guy, but I'm a huge Jason Voorhees guy. The unfortunate thing about this movie is it's not rated R, it's PG-13. You do have Lance Henriksen returning as a regular human instead of the droid as Charles Bishop Wayland in the movie, so that's a plus. And you have Alexa Woods, I think that's her name. She was pretty badass and even earned the respect from the Predator and was like his, he worked with her towards the end. And I like the atmosphere where it's set in like Antarctica. And like they have a queen hostage, and they're like making it's an interesting movie, but it's not that good. It's not rated R. If it was rated R, the movie would probably be up like 1 or 2 spots at least. But I don't know. It's not very memorable in my opinion, and they kill off the characters that I thought were going to be survive, which I guess it subverted my expectations. But I just didn't like it, even though this is the second time I've seen it. And I didn't like it when I saw it before. I knew nothing about the Alien franchise when I saw it. At least I don't think I did when I saw it in 2003, because my friend wanted to go see it. I think it was his birthday. No, his birthday was Hulk. I don't know when I saw it in 2003, but I know I saw it in the theater, but didn't remember anything about it. But I knew the Predator movies. So, yeah, this movie, it comes in 7th place. Alien vs. Predator. Coming in 6th place is going to be Alien Covenant. Now, the movie is a little weird, but I think it looks really good. And the character of David/Walter is really amazing. One of the best performances in the Alien franchise, and I'm including Ripley in that as well. But it's not it's not as memorable as it should be. Like, I'm trying to remember the stuff about it. I have a couple bullet points that I want to touch upon, but I actually left Alien Covenant blank by mistake. It quickly, like, kind of ends the stuff that happened in Prometheus, and they kill off Shaw off screen, which pisses me off because I wanted to see more of that. I wanted to see more of the... I don't know what they call the specific thing because I'm not a mega fan of the franchise yet. The creators of the humans and eventually the aliens, but so you have David kill off all those guys or girls or whatever they are, women, men, I don't know, both. So yeah, Covenant had promise, and it was okay. I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was going to be much better. I did see the end coming. Spoiler alert, when David is on the ship, I knew, or I should say when Walter is on the ship, I knew it was David. And I didn't know spoilers going into it, but it was so predictable when they were fighting and all of a sudden he's on the ship. It's like, okay, that's got to be David and not Walter. But anyway, Alien Covenant comes in 6th place. Coming in 5th place, and this I guess is a hot take because most people hate this movie. I enjoyed it. I was really into it. And that would be Alien Resurrection. I think it has a really cool underwater sequence. You have Ron Perlman, you have Winona Ryder, you have Raymond Cruz, who of course was Tuco Salamanca in Breaking Bad. Okay, the ending with so you have Ripley, the android, somehow getting pregnant by the xenomorph, and they have like this hybrid human/xenomorph character-ish. Yeah, that was a little odd, but since I didn't have a nostalgia for the franchise, and I had never seen hardly any of these movies beforehand, I kind of dug this movie, and I know that's a hot take, but I liked it. I think the end with like Ripley and the character Winona Ryder plays, the two droids like staying together, was kind of like I would have rather had her more with Ron Perlman, at least hanging out with him. He was kind of an afterthought. towards the end of the movie, but it was good. And the one guy that's in the wheelchair, he was kind of a cool character. I don't remember all the character names, unfortunately. I can tell you the actors and actresses more than I can tell you the characters. So I liked Alien Resurrection. I really liked it, actually. I thought the cast of characters were cool. And yeah, it's number 5 for me, which probably will get me canceled. So number 4 is the first movie I've ever watched, the second movie I ever watched in the Alien franchise. I saw it in the theater in 2012, and that would be Prometheus. Now, honestly, I didn't like Shaw's character. I thought Shaw was annoying, but I thought David, the droid played by Michael Fassbender, was really good. You have Vickers, played by Charlize Theron. You have Janek, played by Idris Elba. I thought those two characters were really good, and they kind of made the movie for me because I was annoyed by Shaw. But there are some flaws in the movie, like petting what looks like to be a king cobra, but it's not a king cobra, but has all the mannerisms of a king cobra. And the whole story that's the flaw, in my opinion. But the whole story with like the creator people, I thought that was kind of interesting. And they're like strong and tough, and then the xenomorph finally shows up at the end. It might have been called something else because it was like a xenomorph / creator thing, whatever. So I enjoyed Prometheus. I saw it in 2012. I bought it on DVD, so that means I watched it when it came out on DVD. I watched it again within the last year, and then I just watched it like less than a week ago. So Prometheus, I really like. I know that's not necessarily the most popular opinion. I know the movie's kind of slow at times, but I just thought it was interesting, but it is silly too. So Prometheus is my number 4, which will get me canceled as well. Now I'm really going to get canceled. Coming in third place for me is going to be Alien from 1979. I don't have nostalgia for this film. I did watch Alien about, was it 2 years ago? But like I wasn't into it. I didn't have any purpose to watch them. I just wanted to put them on to finally watch them. But I stopped watching the Aliens after once the third one started. I turned them off. So I finally sat down and actually paid attention this time. But I never saw it back in the day, or if I did, I was really young and honestly didn't remember it. It's slow to me, but obviously when they're in the kitchen or the part where the chest burster thing happens, that's pretty memorable for film. It's a horror movie, which is great. But it's just so slow. You have Ash the droid, who turns evil, of course. You have Ripley, who ends up being... I thought Tom Skerritt would be the main character, but ends up being Ripley. I don't have nostalgia for it, but it is a good movie, and I see why everybody likes it. But since I don't have I don't have a special bond with Alien, I just have to put it in third place, and I know that you're going to be upset with that. Number 2 for me, and I had a hard time deciding between number 2 and 1 because I liked both these movies for different reasons. But number 2 for me is going to be Alien Romulus. First thing that got me attached to this film, but it was directed by Fede Alvarez, who I love for his directorial stuff in Evil Dead 2013 and Don't Breathe. You have the characters of Rain and Andy, which honestly, the characters in this movie, I didn't really love. Like some people love at least Rain and Andy. I don't. The scene where they have the no gravity stuff with the acid floating around, I thought that was really cool. The movie is a horror movie, and it's badass. And it's directed by Fede Alvarez, which even makes it more badass. You have the return of Ash. Well, they use his footage, the CGI it. They use Ian Holm, which it looks terrible, but at least they have some tie-in. But the horror element is great. The ending of the movie, since I don't have like a huge like nostalgia factor to them, I don't mind the end as many people would get annoyed by it. You give birth to this really tall alien thing, whatever it is. There's lots of xenomorphs in this movie, and they're pretty badass. Of course, you have the facehuggers as well, which I forgot to mention the facehuggers until now. Of course, they had the original one in the first Alien movie. But and I like how they had the facehugger in this movie, and they found a way to get it off where you thought maybe she'd be okay, but no, she wasn't. She eventually had a chest burster, so... Unfortunately, it didn't crack number 1 yet, and it's possible it goes down 1, or maybe with a rewatch it might go up 1. But Alien Romulus was a pretty awesome movie. I really liked it, and that's why it's in number 2. So, you already know what number 1 is. My number 1 is going to be Alien. Now, again, with the Alien movie, the first one, I did watch this a couple of years ago, but I had no reason to watch it. I just put them on to try to watch them, and I was half paying attention to them. So when I finally watched it, I thought it was a really fun action horror movie, but it's obviously more action. Ripley is just a badass in this movie. You have Rebecca, a.k.a. Newt. You have the evil head of the thing, Burke, played by Paul Reiser. You have Hudson, played by the late, great Bill Paxton. You have Vasquez, who is a badass. Kind of reminds me of a Michelle Rodriguez type. You have Bishop, the droid, played by Lance Henriksen in the movie. It's a really fun action horror movie, and I really liked it. And like after it was over, I'm like, wow, that was pretty good. I feel like they kind of go about 5 to 10 minutes longer than they should to add to the runtime, but I liked it, so that's why at the moment it's my number one. And I do stress upon the fact that I'm going to rewatch these again within the next year, or when the TV series comes out, and do another ranking just to see how my opinions are after letting things sit for a while. You know, rewatching the first Alien movie to see if I'm more into it now that I've watched all the movies, and then of course watching Alien Romulus again to see what my opinions are on it, and then maybe Resurrection I won't like as much the next time, but I liked it. But anyway, that's my ranking of this franchise. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I don't know every detail about the franchise yet. It's kind of like when I did my Evil Dead ranking, but I feel like I know more about the Alien franchise than I did when I did my Evil Dead ranking. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Hulk smash the like button, or otherwise I'll send a Xenomorph for a face hugger after you, and then you'll have your chest burst. Share the video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Make sure that you leave your ranking in the comment section, assuming you have a ranking of this franchise of your own. And if there's any other franchises that you want me to rank, you can put that in the comment section. I know A Nightmare on Elm Street is what everybody says. Eventually, someday, I will do that ranking. I have watched all the movies, but other than Freddy vs. Jason, I haven't watched all of them in a really, really, really long time. 20 years for some, 30 years for some, so it's been a while. So one day, probably when we get a new movie, if we ever do, I will do a ranking of that. But maybe one day I'll just give up and say, fuck it, let's do it. But leave me any of your suggestions in the comment section. Share the video like I mentioned. Don't forget, I'll put my franchise ranking playlist right there and my Dexter playlist right there. Check those out. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You are watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.